Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have come not to abolish, but to fulfill. Amen, I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter or the smallest part of a letter will pass from the law until all things have taken place. Therefore, whoever breaks one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do so will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever obeys and teaches these commandments will be called greatest in the kingdom of heaven. I tell you, unless your righteousness surpasses that of the scribes and the Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. You have heard that it was said to your ancestors, 'You shall not kill, and whoever kills will be liable to judgment.' But I say to you, whoever is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. And whoever says to his brother, 'Raca,' will be answerable to the Sanhedrin. And whoever says, 'You fool,' will be liable to fiery Gehenna. Therefore, if you bring your gifts to the altar, and there recall that your brother has anything against you, leave your gift there at the altar. Go first and be reconciled with your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Settle with your opponent quickly on the way to court. Otherwise, your opponent will hand you over to the judge, and the judge will hand you over to the guard, and you will be thrown into prison. Amen, I say to you, you will not be released until you have paid the last penny. You have heard that it was said, 'You shall not commit adultery.' But I say to you, everyone who looks at a woman with lust has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than to have your whole body thrown into Gehenna. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one of your members than to have your whole body go into Gehenna. It was also said, 'Whoever divorces his wife must give her a bill of divorce.' But I say to you, whoever divorces his wife, unless the marriage is unlawful, causes her to commit adultery. And whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. Again, you have heard that it was said to your ancestors, 'Do not take a false oath, but make good to the Lord all that you vow.' But I say to you, do not swear at all, not by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is his footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. Do not swear by your head, for you cannot make a single hair white or black. Let your yes mean yes, and your no mean no. Anything more is from the evil one." The Gospel of the Lord.
I'm holding in my hands 2 iPads. As you can see, they look almost exactly the same. They have the same size, same type of ports. When you open them up, the screens will look exactly the same. Now, why do I have 2 iPads? You're all probably wondering right now how much money priests actually make. This first iPad was given to me about 8 years ago as a gift, and I've been using it to type documents, to pray, to watch YouTube videos all these years. But there's a problem. The longer I have had this iPad, the more storage gets used up. When I try to open up an app, it crashes now. When I try to install an app, it says, "Unable to install. You've used up too much storage." The problem is that this only contains 16 gigabytes of data, and I'm not able to increase that storage. Which then brings me to this iPad. So my staff, group of people I work with, has been tired of seeing me work with this iPad, this outdated device that keeps crashing, so that they bought me this new iPad last week. And this one can do a whole lot more than this one. You know why? Because this has 64 gigs of storage in it, 4 times more than this was. Things that may look the same on the outside may be very different on the inside. And that seems to be the demand of Jesus today in the gospel. He says, unless your righteousness surpasses that of the Pharisees and scribes, you cannot enter the kingdom of heaven. Why is Jesus calling these people out today? Well, it's because they've just become settled for following the rules. They're set, you might say, at just 16 gigs. They're satisfied with the commandment, you shall not kill. The bar is very low, right? And Jesus says, no, that's not enough. He said, you shouldn't even be angry with your brother. Increase your storage. Bump it up to 64 gigs or something like that. The Pharisees are satisfied with, you shall not commit adultery. And Jesus says, no, that's not enough. Don't even look at a woman with lust. Increase your storage. The Pharisees are satisfied with, do not make a false oath, don't lie. But Jesus says that's not enough. Don't take any oath, don't swear at all. Let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. You see, what Jesus is doing is he's challenging the assumptions of those who set the bar low for themselves and who are just content with that limited storage in their heart. But disciples of Jesus, those who choose to follow after him, who look just like everyone else on the outside. They may look exactly the same, but disciples of Jesus, the life of a Christian that you and I live, demands that you and I enlarge our hearts, to fill it with the love of God, to engage the spirit of the law rather than just the letter of the law. What does it look like to increase our storage as Catholics? How do we go from this to this? Let me take one example. What's an example of the letter of the law for us? Go to Mass on Sundays. But does that mean that our only thoughts about God are limited to when we're at church? No, that would be the spirit of the law. That's the low bar. That's the minimum. The spirit of the law, however, demands a larger heart to transcend the rules and to invite God's presence into our life at all times. That's what our life demands. If you're married and your storage is only 16 gigs and it never increases, then you'll never truly be able to love the other person. If you're a priest and your storage is only 16 gigs, then you'll never be able to truly serve your parishioners. If you're young and your storage is only this much, then you'll never be able to maximize God's potential for your life. You got to increase your storage, or you'll simply just crash and reach the limit of your love, and the bar remains low. So back to the iPad, the new one. This has been a wonderful gift, because now my prayer apps don't crash when I try to open them up. I can retrieve things, and I don't have to worry about them getting lost in the cloud. Now, the storage in here is enlarged. I think we can take as our example today Jesus' invitation to be with us this week. Increase the storage of your heart. Expand your interior life. Allow the Lord to fill that space so that you and I don't crash, but instead that we overflow with love.